everyone says hi. I'll monitor the chat and then I'll pop up questions as well for us. So Mary Jo, I think that's all our introductions. I think that's our group. So I'll let you take it away.
Okay. And just let me know if you hear me okay. So I'll start with my introduction. Good afternoon. My name is Mary Jane Joe. I am from the Intlekabmach Nation near Merritt, BC. I am married to a Musqueam man. I live in Musqueam. I went through NITEP and graduated with my Bachelor of Education degree in 1996. And actually, I graduated with Frida Alphonse from up your way there. So many years ago. So I never taught in the schools after that. I went right for my master's degree. And I have spent the past 18 years teaching, first with NITEP as the urban coordinator, and then for 8 years. And then I moved over to Langara College, where I taught Aboriginal studies for 10 years. And when I turned 65, I retired from teaching, but I stay on as the elder in residence. And that job is quite busy. There's a lot of things to do. Plus, I work in the school system in the reconciliation projects. So it's quite a busy life, but there's no homework to correct, so that makes it wonderful. I'll let you young people do all the correcting and lesson plans and everything. So yeah, I use my language quite a bit in all of my welcomings, in all of my greetings. And it was a really big part of my teacher education in NITEP, making lesson plans, counting from 1 to 10. And so when I got into the practicums, I was able to use all of these lesson plans, and it made it a lot of fun for me and as well as the students. So I would not have graduated if it wasn't for NITEP. NITEP really helped me, validated me as an Aboriginal person. I am a residential school survivor. I went to Kamloops residential school for 12 years. I left there in 1969, graduated, and just spent the rest of my life overcoming the trauma that I suffered. All of my family went there, and my parents were at different residential schools, and they suffered as well. So in my teachings in the school system today, I share much of what we went through and how we overcame this discriminatory assimilationist practice. So education today looks like it's in good hands. Like, I met a lot of students today and spoke to many classes, and there was a lot of good questions, and reconciliation is really high on the agenda these days. So I'm really, really happy to see that. I was just wondering if any of you have any questions.
I have a question.
Yes.
It's Stella here from Williams Lake.
Okay.
Being a language teacher, in a couple of, I'm going to say in the early 80s.
Yeah.
Back then they didn't need a language certificate. So
oh,
now,
right.
Yeah, now there's other language teachers taking their language certificate. And now that's almost not valid enough for, somebody who's a speaker. And now it seems like you have to take NITEP in order to be a qualified teacher. What are your thoughts on that?
Wow, that's news to me. And I don't understand the reasoning behind that, but I would persist and get the paperwork, because it appears that the degrees and the paperwork that you have validate your knowledge.
Thank you.
Yeah, I hope I answered that somewhat. Yeah, that's news to me. I'm really sorry I can't add more. But I
Yeah.
know I want to become a language teacher myself. I love my language, and I took linguistics 100, and it was really, really difficult. It was like taking a physics course, and I couldn't. So I went into NITEP, and I found that a lot more fun.
Yeah, I think I'm enjoying the program. It's just another, I guess, another way of Western culture, saying we need a piece of paper to um to be qualified as language teachers, even though you've, been raised in
Right.
the language and culture. So I thought,
Yeah.
well, I'll pursue NITEP, and I'm still getting my language certificate. So
Oh, that's
yeah,
great.
yeah,
My husband, Wayne Campbell, his daughter, Becky, speaks the Squamish language, and she had to go through that as well, certification. But
yeah.
it enabled her, she is now a language teacher at Capilano University in North Vancouver. So she teaches there now. So it was hard work for her, but she pulled through, and now she teaches. So it's well worth it.
Yes, I think so too.
And I wish you every success in your endeavors.
Thank you.
Hi, Susan. I saw your hand up. Did you have a question?
I do have a question. You were saying today that you were, pardon me? Sorry. It's Suzanne from Quesnel. I'm not sure if you can hear me. The question that I have, since
Yes.
we're meeting with so many teachers and other admins today, how do you approach an administrator that seems to feel that Indigenous parents don't care about their children's education? Like, you still, even though there's so many, forward movements, it still seems that you get the odd administrator that doesn't have very nice things to say sometimes about Aboriginal parents.
Right. This is where a good support system play for being positive, because many administrators are a lone voice, hopefully. So I recommend a good support system among parents, among faculty, among staff, teachers, just to overcome that, because there's so much good, positive strides being made now in the school system, in the education faculties here at UBC. I've just spent the whole day at UBC speaking to classes, and there's a lot of really good positive energy and interest. So I just felt like our students are going to have a chance now with all of these good teachers, and all of you, when you finish your training, you're going to enhance the whole education system, because colonization, assimilation has done so much damage. And this is our chance to try to undo some of that and tackle the negative with more positive. So I hope I sort of answered that question.
Yes, thank you very much. I do feel that support with all my NITEP crew, so that's amazing. Yeah, thank you.
Right. Good. Very good. Do you see them? Yeah.
Yes, we exist. There are actually more of us on the other side of the computer as well.
Bella Coola, did you guys want to do a topic circle introduction?
All of us?
Yeah, we did ours in the air.
Joanna, do you want us one at a time? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, if we want to do a circle one at a time of who's at the table.
There's another half of us on the other side of the computer.
It might be nice for the Elder Mary Jo to meet us all.
Absolutely. Can you? Should we do it live? I would love to, but this. Okay, go first. But it's that, like.
Hello, my name is Dana Mack. My first year, but I'm returning, so it's great to meet you.
Yeah, good. Wow.
Anybody? Everybody? I'm Kim Baglow, the NITEP coordinator here in Bella Coola. Who's next?
Hi, my name's Jamie Stransky Wallace. First year NITEP student, but I currently work as a EA in the high school in Exalta, Bella Coola.
Oh,
Hi, I'm Kathy Robson, returning student from NITEP. I'm an EA here at the school. Hi, I'm Kathleen Scooter. My first time NITEP too. I also was a TA. I took time off work.
Well, hi. I graduated with Trina Spooner.
Hi, I'm Travis. I'm a returning student for NITEP. I work in high school as an EA.
Hi, I'm Terrace Perkis. I'm a first year NITEP student, and I used to be a math tutor at the college.
Hi, it's good to meet you. My name's Tim Michaelchuk, and I'm an EA here at Exalta, and enrolled in the NITEP program and enjoying every minute of it. Thank you.
Hello, my name's Leah Mack. I'm a returning student to NITEP. I'm a full-time employee at Exalta School, and I work with grade 2. Pleasure to meet you.
Yes.
Hi, my name's Chelsea Hilland. I'm a first year NITEP student, and I currently work for the local school board here, and I'm just really happy to be here.
Hi there, my name is Courtney Elliott. It's my first year. Nice to meet you.
Hi, I'm Loretta Mack, returning NITEP from previous years, and I'm an EA, grade 5 EA here at the school. Nice to meet you.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Roxanne. My first year NITEP, and I also have my ECE, and I work for the school district.
Hello.
Hi, I'm a first year NITEP student. I do look forward to finishing the program and to work in Osaka or school district. And I'd see where my options are.
Wow. Way to go.
Hello, my name's Georgina Jeffrey. I'm a EA. This is my first year at NITEP.
Yeah, hi.
Here? Yeah. Hi, I'm Nola Mack. I am a first year NITEP student and very excited so far. Very exciting. Thank you.
Wow. Good.
Right there. Yeah, you can see right here where your face is.
Okay, yeah. Hi, I'm Renee Andy. I work here at the Excelsior School.
I'm Dan Andy. I enjoy working with the youth of our community.
Hi, with your face. You can see your face here.
Hi. I'm Sean Juana Schooner. I teach Newcroft traditional foods, and I'm enrolled on my fifth year NITEP.
Wow.
Hello, my name is Lucinda Scudder, and this is my first year in NITEP, returning to school after 10 years, and I'm looking forward to the next 4. Thank you.
Hi.
Hi, my name's Kayla Va'a. I'm a full-time worker here at the school, and I'm a full-time student first year NITEP.
Hi.
Hi, my name is James Mack, first year NITEP student, and I recently won beautiful at Halloween costume contest.
Hi.
And that's all of us.
Okay, wow, what a great group. My goodness. It's really great to meet you all. Yeah. I love your country. I went there way back in 1998. Took a trip from Port Hardy. It was so beautiful. I want to go back.
Come in the summer.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody can. Okay. When is it?
So the school here at Oksokta has a children's potlatch in May on the 16th, and the cohort here wanted to invite you to that. So you guys are welcome if you'd like to come up.
Okay, I'm going to write that down. Can I borrow your pen? Thanks. Okay, it's going down in the books. Okay, got it.
Did you like being a teacher?
I liked it because I was able to teach. I worked mainly with first and second year college and university students for the past 17 years. And I liked that I could teach about our culture, our traditions, and the policies that were in place to create assimilation and colonization. When I took those courses here at UBC, I became empowered. And rather than remain a victim of the residential school system, I became liberated, because then I understood why the government forced policies upon us. And I understood what happened to us through the education system in the past. And so I was able to share that, and in sharing that, I was able to bring about awareness and understanding. And so in that result, I enjoyed teaching because it opened eyes and created understanding. Without doing that, I found a lot of attitudes of critical judgmentalism, discrimination, and racism. But when students see the research and see the validation of what really happened in our history, they began to say, aha, so that's what's wrong. And they began to recognize that they will become teachers and lawyers and nurses and social workers, and that they can make a difference in the workforce when they work with Aboriginal people. So in that resolve, I felt like I enjoyed teaching, and it was very rewarding. So it's worth it. You know, all the struggles and trials, the homework, the assignments, it's all worth it because it empowers you. Did I answer your question?
My other question is, I didn't get where you were from. Did you start us, like here at Bellacoola, we have our own school. Do you guys have one community? And yeah, you did.
Oh, well, I live in Musqueam, and there's no school per se there. All the children from Musqueam Reserve go to either Southlands or Point Grey, or some of them go to independent schools or private or Catholic schools. So they're spread out throughout the city. And I come from the small town of Merritt. You may pass by Merritt on your way to Vancouver if you're driving from Williams Lake area. So that's my hometown. My family still lives there. I believe here at UBC, the University of British Columbia, there are 56,000 students. And when I was a student here, there were 35,000. And that was a lot of students, but it has almost doubled. It's become very, very popular on a global sense. And there's a lot of international students, but there is a NITEP center here right on campus where students will take NITEP courses, but they'll also take courses with the rest of the education students. I work at Langara College. When I was teaching there, I think they started out with a population of about 15,000, and it has now doubled. But I no longer teach there, but I'm the elder in residence. So I do somewhat lecturing in different classes, and I get to meet faculty, staff, and I get to welcome everyone. We try to do the proper protocols that are respecting the territory of the Musqueam First Nations. And we acknowledge that this is unceded territory here in the Vancouver area. The point I wanted to make is that international students find Vancouver very, very, like this is the place to come to for learning English and taking courses and getting diplomas and getting courses that'll help them transfer to university like UBC or Simon Fraser. So I'm in a college where there's a lot of transfer courses, And I believe the enrollment and population has doubled. When I started here 13 years ago at Langara, there was 15,000, but I believe it's up to now 30,000. So they've had to build buildings like crazy and build them fast. So yeah, teaching is very, very, you're always looking for good teachers. That's what it seems to me. So once you finish your degrees, you will be in high demand. That's what I think. So keep up the good work, keep up your studies, find your support groups. Today, one of the students who lives far away from home asked me a question. How do you deal with loneliness when you're away from your parents, grandparents, family? And so I said, the drum is a great help. The drum beat is the heartbeat. And there's so many things in our culture that help us to maintain balance and to help keep us healthy. Singing, if you know songs in your territory, sing them. That helps bring you close to your ancestors and your people. And singing is now stated as a way to boost your immune system. So if you want to maintain healthy immune systems, sing more songs. And the drum beat becomes like a drum beat is the heartbeat, and it also becomes a prayer to the Creator. If you don't know, you can't pray, you're feeling troubled. And this is what my elders taught me. You share that with any class that I work with and I teach. So our elders really had a lot of wisdom, a lot of knowledge on how to maintain good health in our mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional life. They had a question. Does the elder cut in and out?
That was our question.
Oh,
To them.
Oh, okay. Okay. Are you able to hear me okay?
Yep.
Oh, good. Okay. Good. I can see you, but I can't hear anybody. Somebody talk to me.
We turned off our mic so that we could hear you better and so it wouldn't cut in and out.
Okay, good idea. Okay.
With my students, if there were any other questions that you've had?
I actually had a question. It's Chanel. Being a residential school survivor, have you used that while you were teaching?
Yes. In the courses that I taught, I used it when I talked about the history of education. And so I was able to present, I've heard a lot of testimonies from different people. So I was able to use that, you know, the true voices, the true expression, the lived experience. And so it becomes more authentic and more validated, you know, when more people share their lived experience. And so, you know, I was able to use it, and I was able to challenge the class, the students. You know, if you were writing a policy for education in today's day and age, how would you develop an education program and a plan for Aboriginal students. So I was always able to use the past and explain it, and then also challenge today's students. You know, how would you change things? What would you do differently if you were the government and the bureaucrats and the administrators? You know, so it gives them we're learning this information, but also we can have power at some point to change things for the better. Because I would always say to my students, when you are the judge or when you are the Minister of Education, you may have the opportunity to make things better. You know, what are you going to do knowing what you know now? So, yeah, so I'm very thankful for the knowledge that I learned here at UBC, and then I was able to use it in classroom teaching with first year college students.
Thank you.
Bless you.
I just wanted to thank Mary. Thank you for being an inspiration to us up and coming students. You've survived residential school and you've modeled resiliency in a positive way. And I think it's important to take the negative and turn it into something positive. It's really a beautiful thing. So thank you for that.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for saying that. I appreciate good feedback. Otherwise, I'm just sort of muddling around and doing my best. And I wanted to say that, you know, reconciliation is something that we all can take part in, whether we're students, whether we live in a community or we're part of society. It's something we can all work with, and learning about residential schools is very important, because so many of our people who are at the schools, they have passed on. No one heard their stories, and so it's really important that we speak for them as well. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Hello, this is Son Juana here. I'm an elder of the Newcalp Nation. I am coming 71 in my next birthday in February. And some of my ways are very old. And sometimes it's pointed out to me. And sometimes I feel so frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I feel like to give up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I used to be, I still am an accountant. I did income tax for years and worked as a consultant. And I chose to teach traditional foods because I feel that it's very important. But sometimes I feel very challenged, and I just would like you to tell me, how could I be more positive in, I guess, in my endeavor to be a successful traditional foods teacher.
Mm-hmm. Well, in my opinion, you sound very successful already. And you are so fortunate to have knowledge from your elders that you can pass on. Food is the sustenance of life. If you know natural foods from the land, you are wealthy indeed. You have secret knowledge and good healthy foods that the general population will probably benefit from if you have knowledge. You see, the fast foods of today, the processed foods of today, are very negative on our health, and they create a lot of problems in health. And so if you know some of the natural foods, the traditional foods, the historical foods, and they're organic, then the body, the people can only benefit from that. So I just lift my hands to you for your knowledge and your wisdom, because you have a lot to offer. And in your training, you can use a lot of that knowledge in your lesson plans, in your research, in your teaching skills. And it will be very, very beneficial, not just to you, but to your students and to your classmates. So I lift my hands in respect to you, and I say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Hi, Mary Jane. Johanna here with the Caribou Center. One thing our class was talking about this weekend was about learning spaces. So we went into Cornell and we were in an older building. Some of the students mentioned it felt very residential school. And I find at times it's difficult, even as a coordinator, to find learning spaces for Indigenous students that are in ways that align with their ways of knowing and being. So I wonder what you share with us about experiences about physical spaces and learning spaces and things that we can keep in mind when we think about that and we start organizing.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. The visuals on the walls, the sounds of music and drumming within those walls, claiming that space for our ancestors, for our grandparents, and making their teachings welcome. Because you hear about people who are in solitary confinement. They might have been locked into 4 walls or 6 walls, top and bottom. But in their heart and in their mind, they made a life that didn't confine them, because they remembered their teachings of their grandparents, and they remembered the songs and the rhythms, the music, the prayers, the language within those confinements. And so I just recommend that you invite that in, brush it out with the fir bough, smudge it out with the medicines, the sage and the sweetgrass and whatever you use to burn, and just claim that space for your own, because we will always confront spaces that will remind us of residential school, of desolation, of the bare walls, of the absence of our culture. But we can claim it back, and we can invite music in, and rhythm and drum beats and flute music and the songs of our ancestors, and just make it your space. I hope I answered that somewhat, because that's a different question than I've ever had, but that's what I would do anyway. Yeah.
it does. It definitely helps because we're thinking about learning spaces and making them inclusive and that feeling that sense of belonging. And it's sometimes
Right.
hard
Yeah.
when you're in a classroom with the walls and limited to
Mhm.
the outside. So
Yeah. Yeah. Because people bring their energy in, and it's generally positive energy and it's generally happy energy, happy people. And if they're not, brush them down. Where I come from here in Musqueam, we go through the brushing down ceremony. We go through that at Langara College. I learned that from my grandmother up in Merritt. And so it's really beneficial to go through those steps that our ancestors taught us, to be positive and to be healthy and to let go negative and the past. So, yeah.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, this is Kim, the coordinator in Bella Coola, and we're learning a lot, or we're starting to talk a lot about our teaching philosophies here and work out what those individual philosophies look like. My question is, how do you view your teaching philosophy and what are you?
My teaching philosophy comes from my grandmother. I stayed with her when I left residential school. I was a very angry, bitter person. I wanted to rebel and damage myself and others, but my grandmother got me to hold my hands out like that. And she said, when you die, you will go up to the star people. You will stand in front of the Creator and you will hold out your hands to the Creator. Everything you have ever done is written on your hands, and the Creator will look at that and you will give an account. So that helped me guide my life to walk a life of sobriety. I have stayed away from drugs and alcohol, and I tell that to the children that I encounter. This is my philosophy. This keeps me going. If I die tonight, I'm ready. If I die next year, I'm ready. But I want to do the best I can with what I have. And I will, my grandmother said, we are on this earth to help others. We are on this earth. We have been given a gift by the Creator. And that's my guiding light, my steps that help me live and to be a happy person, that I walk in balance. And so I share this with my students, whether it be at the college or at when I'm a guest speaker in the school system in Vancouver. And I want everyone to know what my grandmother taught me, because it was very important to me and it has helped me to have a good life. So did I answer your question? I mean, that's sort of like a beginning place, for me. So.
Absolutely. That's a large question, and
I'm glad. Good.
Leanna, I see your hand raised. Did you want to go next? She might be having some tech difficulties, and I see her hand is lowered, so I'm not sure.
Okay. Would it help to type it out, do you think?
I haven't seen any. Leanna, if you have a question, feel free to type it out or jump in.
Okay, no, sorry, I'm just trying to figure this out.
Okay.
What would you take away from all of this? What would you want? What can you pass on? What is your knowledge to pass on to others from your teachings?
I've never been asked that before. If I were to pass something on, I would say just stay true to the teachings that you learned from your elders, you know, your grandparents, the elders in your community, because that will always be a guiding light to you. And when you pass that on to others who might be lost, who might be searching, that will be meaningful to them. Because I think the medicine wheel, you see me wearing my 4 colors of the medicine wheel. I use this as a teaching tool as well. It's the 4 races of humanity. We are all equal. No one's better than anybody else. And in my language, there's a word for that, tekam tlu tsitsi out, and that means we are all equal. So that's one of the teachings I share. And I try to build the thought of being global. Every race in the world is, you know, has something to offer and has something to learn. And so in that resolve, we are all equal. And that's also like a beginning point. I'll have to think about that some more.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
My name is Dana, if you can. There's so many of us. My question is, when we are actually teachers in the classroom, I'm wondering how to get more of the elders that are the next generation of elders to come to our classroom, out to our classroom.
I was just asked that in one of the Indigenous education classes just down the hall here. And I recommend, like in the city of Vancouver, the Friendship Center, there's quite a list of elders who are available. Each of the band councils has a list of elders that are available in the Vancouver area. In your territory, there will always be a list of elders. If you find they are passing away, there's a way to record them on video or film them, make a little documentary about them, about their teachings, their traditions, save it forever on camera, and you'll have that. And ask their permission to show it in the classroom, to show it to children and students who can learn and benefit from them. You know, if a lot of our elders are passing on, because we have a saying, when our elders pass on, there goes an encyclopedia of knowledge. And so we really need to record as many as possible. So that's just one way, you know, to have it there forever. And I think that's something that, you know, like in your research, you can do that, you can complete that, you can, you know, because it'll be so beneficial for not just your community, but for others as well.
So Mary Jo, another question that came up on some of our discussions in the Caribou was, We're all learning technology, and some of us are more familiar than others. And even the idea of video conferencing with an elder, I got some like, oh, we're video conferencing with an elder? I got some unsturdy looks.
Yes.
So, any thoughts on like technology and being teachers and how we can use it in a good way as Indigenous educators?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very useful tool. I use it as an elder with some of the teacher groups that I work with, and I Skype with schools across Canada. And because in a lot of cities, the elders, they can't get elders. I don't know why, what their reason is, but they'll get me because I'm available. And so it's very beneficial. The children can ask questions. And in this day and age, students seem to be very thoughtful. So in that result, technology seems to be very useful if you can work out the frustrations, right? Work out the tangles and all the knots and that. Oh, I'm sure my grandmother would not have taken to technology very good. She couldn't even turn on an electric stove. So I'm just one step beyond her. I find it very difficult. Yeah. So, but if you can work with technology, all the more power to you, because if you've filmed something or recorded something, you're going to have it for life. And if you can visit with each other through Skype or Zoom, you know, that saves you traveling many, many hundreds of miles, you know, and you can have a visit, educational or personal or family, whatever. So, yeah.
Thank you for sharing. And hopefully some of my students hear that. Tech is good. There's just things for us to work out. I like how you said that.
Yeah, there'll have to be some kind of wonderful little reward for anybody who succeeds, because it is quite a process. I know all about that.
Hi, Alice. I see you have your hand raised. Did you have a question?
Yes. So since I have all my electives, I'm only taking the NITEP courses, and I'm just wondering if it's more beneficial to go into like becoming a teacher with more than just your Bachelor of Education, or if that's what I should just focus on, or should I, because I think eventually I might want to go on for my master's, but I'm just wondering if it's if I should only just be taking the NITEP courses, and what do you think about that?
I believe the NITEP course will prepare you for a general educational teaching role in the classrooms. However, if you have an interest, say special needs, it's always beneficial to take a little more studies on something like special needs courses to help equip you for that area. But in general, the NITEP courses prepare you pretty good for classroom teaching.
Okay.
So, but it's something that I think you'll figure it out along the way where your great interest lies and where you would like to build up your own perspective, your own background, your own knowledge, you know, whether it be art, special needs, or, you know, just any area, you know, as you begin to look at who you want to be, what kind of teacher you want to be, what kind of children you want to work with, you know, all of these things will, it'll get sorted out and you'll know which area and which direction that you want to go to. So I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, thank you.
Good.
guess I'll jump in again. So, any tips or advice on self-care and being a teacher and juggling parenthood, and as well as some of our students are grandparents. So it's a lot. They're full-time teaching, full-time working, parenting, grandparenting, and I heard hockey thrown in there as
well. Yeah.
Any tips on like self-care and juggling a busy schedule?
Yeah. Yeah. I believe you need to find balance. Find what it is. It doesn't have to be 5 hours long, might be 5 minutes. Take time for yourself and validate yourself, and or get someone to validate you, and get a massage, get your support system in order, and just so your ears can hear positive things about yourself, and uh, um, become a person who recognizes good in others and get them to recognize the good in you, because this society does not practice that, and sometimes we need to hear that, and so we need to voice that. I need a little boost today, I need a little help today. Just get into the practice of admitting and expressing that there's a need. I think that'll help, because you become great jugglers. But, are you walking in balance? Are you, at peace with yourself?
Thank you.
Does that say? Anyone else have questions? Okay.
Oh, I see, Selma, that you raised your hand.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Can you
Hi,
hear
I can
me?
hear you. Yes. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah. I was gonna
Okay.
ask, do you use traditional healers in campus or on site? Traditional healers.
Yeah, I haven't heard of any per se. Um, are there traditional? I don't
Would
think
it be a
so.
good thing or?
Yeah, I think it would be
I want.
beneficial. Meets the needs of students. The late Vince Stogan once brushed down the First Nations House of Learning. I was there. I witnessed him. He had the fir boughs, and he opened the door and he brushed out bad energy and bad negative attitudes. And so since he has passed away, I don't think anyone has stepped in to do that. But, if it's necessary, if it's needing, if someone needs that, I think that'll be important. At the college where I work, we do have brushing down ceremonies, and I'm the one that they ask to brush them down. So, but that's about it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
I see two hands. I see Selma and Susan. Selma, did you have a? Oh, okay, never mind. Susan, I see your hand.
Hello.
No, I forgot to shut it off.
Oh. Are you good now,
Sound
Pamela?
system, eh? Okay.
Hi, it's Suzanne again. My
Oh, hi.
my question was, I have never been to UBC campus, and what would you recommend the first place I go see? I'm up for Cornell.
Oh, well, you must look at the First Nations House of Learning, or the Longhouse. You must go to the Museum of Anthropology. It's just down the road from the Longhouse. Yeah, those are two of the most beautiful buildings on campus. So you can start from there.
And also with the Museum of
I
Anthropology, as UBC students, you get free admission. And as well as all Aboriginal students, so First Nations, Métis, and Inuit, get free admissions at the Museum of Anthropology as well. So definitely
Oh,
open.
really?
Yes.
Wow.
So definitely accessible and open.
Well, that's fantastic. Wow, I didn't know that.
Yes, and then all students as well get free admission. So yeah, all students and as well as all Aboriginal people get free admission as well.
Oh, that's right. My husband is from Musqueam, so he showed. I was wondering why he showed his status card, and then I have an alumni card, so that's what I showed. So, but you're right. Yeah.
And I believe even Métis cards as well.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's great. Oh.
Stella, I see that your hand is up. Did you want to take your question?
I was just wondering, you talked a lot about your grandmother, and we're
Yeah.
doing a virtual museum, and it's asking us to find artifacts to put in our own museum. I was wondering if you had any from your mother or your grandmother or anyone in your family that was passed down as an artifact.
Yes. I received the baskets from my mother, and her grandmother made them. They're the coil baskets, and they're the burden baskets. They're like rectangle, and I treasure those. Those are the only things that I have from my great grandmother. So yeah, those are. I think just about everybody has something, and I think it would be wonderful to have a virtual museum. Yeah. I often bring my baskets in when I'm working with students, and I talk about when I was a child, I had to tie the basket around my waist and pick the berries into my basket. So it was part of our culture and our traditions. I had to fill that basket. My dad was very strict. So, and then I have one little granddaughter, so she'll be getting my name, my First Nations name, and my basket. So when we have a naming ceremony for her. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Belakula, I see your hand raised.
Hi. I think I'm the only one with all the questions here. I think that's an awesome thing that, going berry picking. But my question to you would be, how would you, no, I can't remember it.
With so many students, that one.
With so many students using technology and that are distracted by it, how would you have dealt with it?
There's one professor, I heard about him. When he goes to teach his class, he has an old cell phone inside a jar of water. He puts that on his desk. So everybody puts their cell phones away. And so it's something that we have to lay the law down. It's something I had to do in my class at the college. And how I dealt with it was I'm taking your name, your student number, and I'm giving it to the dean. And if you're on your cell phone during class time. So everyone put their cell phones away and their iPads and their tablets and that, because it was a distraction to those around them. So you have to maintain order. So that was what I used, and it worked. Yeah. Okay.
I'm reading the comments now. We want to go on a road trip, so I think we want to hit maybe Bella Coola and as well as Vancouver, is what I'm guessing.
Oh, it would be absolutely lovely to see you all in person.
I see students commenting, a tour would be nice. Bella Coola.
May 16th. Okay.
How are the roads on May 16th? I've never traveled that big hill in Bella Coola.
Ooh, sounds scary.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
You promise. Check your calendars. Fundraising.
And and Chanel, I see that your hand is raised. Did you want to jump in and ask your question?
Yeah. Well, we talk about a lot about self-reflecting. Mary, do you still do a lot of self-reflecting?
Oh, so I think we lost you for a second, Mary. The question from Chanel was, we do a lot of self-reflecting, and if you still do some self-reflecting.
Yeah, all the time, every day. And I believe it's important to, as a teacher as well, to instill that in students, because it just seems like our society is on fast forward. So we often need to step back or learn to step back and do some self-reflecting to see where we're going. Where did we come from? And how are we going to get there? So, yeah.
And also, I've had a lot of questions from students on teacher self-reflecting. A lot of like, how and when do I fit that into my schedule? And what does a teacher self-reflection or teacher journal look like?
Yeah, I can't hear. Could you maybe write it out? Write out the question. Valerie, you're nominated. For what?
I'm nominated to fundraise for the trip
Tour.
or the tour. Oh, but I've never been to Bella Coola. I was just typing that. As long as we're taking your car.
I didn't hear the last question, Johanna. Oh, Johanna Carr. Okay.
I think we need a NITEP van. My question though, Mary, was just from keeping a teacher journal. So would you suggest keeping a teacher journal? And if so, what does that look like?
Okay, I keep a journal here of all of my my schedule, like every month, because I'm quite busy. I'll just show you what September looked like for me. This is September. I don't know if you could see it, but just about every day is filled up. I make notes. This is when my 3 grandchildren were in Vancouver in the summer. I taught them a song, and we went to the college and we sang that song, and we used rattles. So this was how I imagined them. I didn't think they would do it, but they did it. And of course I had to pay them a toonie, but they did it. But I make notes to myself about what's important. I make notes if I'm thinking about our language, in my language, because I often have to address crowds. So I teach them words in my language, like the word for empathy. When I was working with, or I was addressing the social work program, I said that you have to have empathy, and that word in my language is menuns. And you need kindness for your clients, and that's yummed. And so little things like that come to mind, and I write them down, and they serve me when I need it. And my favorite word is stut, and that means you become resilient, you become powerful and fierce when you learn to look after yourself, and you become self-sufficient, and you look after each other. And then from there you look after the land, because that's what my grandmother taught us. We're to look after the land and the environment. So that's all in my journal for the year. And then January I'll have another journal, and it's very helpful. The good times, the hard times, the important times, everything's in there.
Thank you for those tips, and thank you for showing us the drawings, because sometimes I think we write so much, we forget to draw sometimes.
Yeah. I drew it because I really wanted it to happen, because I thought my grandchildren were too shy, and I didn't think they would, and I really wanted them to sing with me. And they did. They actually cooperated. So I was thinking, when they saw themselves in my journal, see, this is how you're going to look, and you're going to sound really good, and you're going to get your toonie. And yeah, so it worked. Positive, that positive energy, or yeah. Wow.
We have time for one more question.
Okay, Pavan says we have time for one more question.
all dreaming about this road trip now. I think we're all quiet, just dreaming about it.
You might have to paddle down. My husband Wayne says, "Oh, just paddle to Musqueam. You'll find a log somewhere on water."
Valerie, I see your hand.
Hi. I was just wondering if it was possible, should we have any further questions about NITEP and maybe about residential school or anything to do with that background for research purposes, would we be able to contact you as a resource?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you can contact me at mjo@langara.ca.
Langara?
Langara.
Langara.
Yes. Langara. Just how it sounds.
Just like that on
.ca.
the screen?
MJOE. Oh, you need an E at the end of Joe.
Oh, mjo at langara.ca?
Yes.
Okay, like that. There we go.
Well, perfect. Yeah. Yeah, you got any questions? Let me know. And I go into my office 2 days a week, so I will be able to answer any questions you have. So,
thank you.
Yeah, I'll do my best. Okay. Wow. Time is up. I can't believe it. It went so fast. So it's been a real pleasure for me to meet you. I want to go to Bella Coola now. So I wish you every success. Wow. So yeah. So wish you all the best in your studies, your term papers, your research, your midterm exams, Christmas exams, everything. You'll do very well. The world needs you as teachers.
Thank you, Mary Jane.
So thank you for Skyping with me. It's been a real pleasure. Lift your hands, yes. Yep. And thank you. I lift my hands in respect and honor of all of you. In Musqueam, we say Haichka Siem. That means thank you, honored ones. Haichka. Very good.
Gukstechum in Shuswap. Thank you.
I'm in Tlakapmach, we say Kukschamuch. So that's very close, isn't it? Yeah.
There's two. There's Gukstjam and Gukstechum. Both of them have similar meanings.
Yeah. Oh, great. Yeah.
One is thanks to all, and one is just thank you. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Excellent. Yeah.
And in Chalcotton we say Sachalanya.
Wow. Wow. Well, it's been so great to meet you. Thank you. Okay.